Hi, my name's Jim Smith. I write the Barry Loser books and the Future Rat Boy books and the Super Weird Mystery books. And I thought I'd just do a little bit of my talk today that I was going to do at Hexham Festival. And it starts with a little kind of visual quiz, which is based on the idea that the best cartoon characters, you can tell who they are just from their silhouettes. So I'm going to show you a few silhouettes now, and you are going to try and guess who they are. Right, who do you think that is? Pretty easy, isn't it? Bart Simpson. What was it about Bart's silhouette that kind of gave it away though, do you think? I think most people usually see the hair and know straight away that it's Bart Simpson, just from the spikes. So if you drew Bart with a flat head like that, without any spikes, I think people wouldn't recognise him as easily or as quickly. But as soon as you put the little spikes on top of his head like that, straight away, just from that drawing there, you could probably guess Bart Simpson. So that's a good thing to remember when you're drawing a cartoon character of your own, or designing your own character. Think about their silhouette and give it something that kind of stands out, sticks out at the edges. That way people will recognise your character much more quickly. Okay, anyone know this character? Yeah, it's Greg Heffley from Wimpy Kid. And what is it about his silhouette that stands out? For me, it's probably his hair again, those three little spikes sticking out of his head. So it's the same sort of thing with Greg. If you just gave him a circle head like that, you wouldn't recognise him at all. But as soon as you give him these three little hairs like this, straight away you can kind of see Greg Heffley. Okay, this one's really easy. Mickey Mouse. Same thing with Mickey, it's a circle, and then two more circles for his ears, like that. So always remember, if you want to make a good recognisable character, give them a distinctive silhouette. Right, some of you might know who this is. Barry Loser. And have you noticed what his distinctive silhouette is? Yeah, it's his enormous nose. I loved cartoonists that gave their characters big noses when I was a kid, so I thought, right, I'm going to give my character the biggest nose ever. So now I'm going to teach you how to draw Barry Loser. I always start with his eyes, so you do two black dots like that, and Barry worries that people think he's a loser because of his second name, so I quite often give Barry a big droopy nose like this to make him look like he's worried, and two little eyebrows like that. And his hair is kind of like lots of brackets that go around words, so dot them around on top. And his ear is a bracket with a smaller bracket inside it. And then the bottom of his head is a big upside down bracket like that. And I give all my kid characters big heads and small bodies, because if you look at kids, you have got quite big heads and small bodies. So you give him a little tiny body like that. And there's his arm. I give my characters 3 fingers. That's one of the things I love about cartoons, is that you can simplify things down. Obviously we've got 5 fingers, but with a cartoon you can do 3 fingers, it still looks like a hand, and you've saved yourself 2 fingers worth of time. Next, his legs are little L shapes like this, and little lines across for his trainers, little line for the floor. And he's got a zip on his hoodie, and his hood is kind of like another ear, like that. So that's how to draw Barry Loser. Here's a picture of Bunky. He's Barry's best friend. He's a bit less of a warrior than Barry, and you can kind of tell that from his nose. It kind of points up. So my nose is kind of show you how my characters feel. And here's a photo of me when I was a kid, about 8 or 9 years old, and next to me you can see my best friend from then, who was called Ben. And what I did was I turned me into Barry Loser, I turned Ben into Bunky. And I thought back to the way we were when we were kids. So for example, I was quite lazy when I was a kid. I loved lying in the summer holidays, whereas Ben would get up really early at his house on the other side of town, jump on his bike, cycle over to my house, knock on the front door. My mum loved Ben. She would let him in, she'd give him some breakfast, he'd put his feet up, start watching TV in the living room. Then I'd come down about 2 hours later and I'd get really annoyed that Ben was living my life in my living room. So usually I'd chuck him out of the house, then I'd call him back about an hour later and say, actually, do you want to come back round? Then we'd start hanging out for the day. If you've read my books, you'll know that Barry and Bunky say the word keel instead of cool. This is because me and Ben really wanted to be American when we were kids. We thought the way American kids said cool in TV shows and films sounded like keel. So if we really liked something, we'd say, oh, that's the keelest thing ever. If we didn't like something, we'd be like, oh, that's totally unkeel. So Barry and Bunky say keel in my books, and they are in the Keel Gang. And one of their favourite things to do in the Keel Gang is to phone people up and ask them if poo-poo is there. And this is something that I did when I was a kid. Me and Ben would phone random phone numbers, and someone would answer and we'd say, hi, is poo-poo there, please? And they'd get really annoyed and hang up, and we thought it was hilarious. And I remember one week we were phoning random numbers, and we phoned one, and an old lady answered, and she said, hello. And I said, hi, is poo-poo there, please? And she got so annoyed, we thought it was so funny, that I actually jotted her phone number down, and we started to phone her back about once a week. We'd phone her up, and she'd say, hello, and I'd say, hi, is poo-poo there, please? She'd get really angry and hang up, we'd crack up. And then one week I phoned her number, and she answered, she said, hello, and I said, hi, is poo-poo there, please? And she went, oh, poo-poo, yes, oh, just hang on. And she called up the stairs, poo-poo, it's the telephone for you. And I heard someone coming down the stairs, and she handed the phone to them, and I think it must have been her husband. He came on the phone, and he said, poo-poo speaking, and I hung up, and I never called her back again. And I put this story into my first Barry Loser book, and the picture you can see on the screen now is Mrs. Trumpetface, one of Barry's neighbours, getting the poo-poo phone call from Barry, and actually at the end of the book, her twin kids dress up as a poo on the telephone for the Mogden School talent contest. What you can see now on the screen is a drawing of Barry's granny's friend Ethel's feet, and they are based on my dinner lady's feet when I was a kid at school. She used to wear these really tight sandals, and she had these really huge, great big fat feet, and they'd just sort of ooze out of the sandals. And I don't know, these feet were always stuck inside my head. I could never get them out of my head, so I thought, right, I'm going to put them in my book to get them out of my head. And I just love putting gross stuff in my books. I think it's because I liked comics when I was a kid, and they had things like that in them. So I thought I'd just end by teaching you how to draw something extremely disgusting. So what I'm going to teach you now is how to draw a dog poo. And the reason I'm going to teach you this is because there's a lot of dog poos in my Barry Loser books. Barry's treading in them all the time. But I'm not going to teach you how to draw a boring or normal dog poo like this. I'm going to teach you how to draw an chocolate ice cream dog poo. So the way you start is with a kind of sausage with a gap in it, like that. Then you draw a smaller sausage with a gap in it on top of it, like that. Then you give it a little quiff, like this, and some texture lines like this. Stink lines. And what do you always get around dog poos? Flies. So my flies have big noses, like this, for sniffing out dog poos. So there you go, there's my little gift to you, how to draw a chocolate ice cream dog poo. Lastly today, I'm gonna teach you how to draw a couple of the characters for my new book, Super Weird Mystery, Danger at Donut Diner. This is Rhubarb and this is Melvin, and they live on an island called Donut Island, where weird things happen. And they hang out with a kid called Yoshi. That's him there. And the mystery in this book is all about a slime monster that comes out of the hole in the middle of the island. So let's start drawing. So we'll start with Rhubarb, which is the girl character. So I always start with their eyes. So 2 circles like this, dots in the middle, and then a little nose like this. Then we draw her head, which is a big circle like that, and her teeth, and she's looking scared on the cover. So we draw a kind of grimace like this. Here's her ear. And then there's her hair. And a bunch of hair on top like this, kind of like a little cloud. And her body is a little rectangle, and she's wearing a dress, so do this little shape at the bottom for the dress. Here's her arm, 4 fingers, 2, 3, 4, and then long legs like this. To her waving. So that's Rhubarb. Actually, let's just give her some scared eyebrows like that. Now we're going to draw Melvin. That's Rhubarb's next door neighbour. So we start with the eyes again. Same as Rhubarb's. 2 circles with dots in the middle. Same nose as Rhubarb. Different hair though. His hair are these little kind of curved lines like this. There's his ear, and one little hair going around the ear like that. And then finish off his head with this U shape, and let's do him smiling in this one. Little smile like that. And in this book he's wearing a little polar neck jumper. So there's the polar neck, there's the jumper, 4 fingers. He's doing a wave as well. And he's wearing trousers. Like this. Give him little tiny eyebrows up here. That's Melvin.